All right. I think we are live. I'm not sure yet. Actually, I think on Facebook at least, I have to click go live. There we go. All
There you
right.
are.
We are on YouTube, not on Facebook yet because I forgot to copy the title. Facebook is annoying like that. Okay. All right. I think we are also live on um, Facebook. Hi, Ellie.
Hi.
All right. So, what news items are we covering? It. By the way, everybody, can you please comment on Facebook and on YouTube just so that we see that the comments are working. And also, just before we cover the news, we're gonna go over the most recent news on religion, atheism, secularism around the world. One thing I want to announce first is that now we have a feed for this. So if you rather listen to the audio version of this on a podcast, if you search for Atheist Republic on your podcast app, it should show up. Um, we do have another podcast called Atheist Republic Voicemails. That's just from voicemails from all around the world. This is different. I see. Hi, Shannon. I see her in the live chat. But this one is going to. So we have two podcasts right now: Atheist Republic Voicemails, Atheist Republic News. A third one is coming soon called Atheist Republic Discussions. All right. So go ahead, Ellie.
Okay, so we're going to start this off talking about Lawrence Krauss finally speaking out about the BuzzFeed article. This was a tremendous response, 9 pages long on a Google Doc, where he actually takes point by point everything that was he was accused of in the BuzzFeed article, and he gives a response to it. So that's what we're going to start off with today. We also have some stories coming from Pakistan. Women in Tunisia had a women's march today. We're going to talk about that and just a lot of great stuff coming up. So I did want to start off talking about Lawrence Krauss because this has been such a huge issue in our community. It is a lot of people have been fighting back and forth over different opinions, over what's been said. So it was great to finally get a response to everything that's going on.
All right. So what did he say in the response?
And so in the response, he basically lets everybody know that it was not it was not accurately portrayed. And you know, reading through Twitter, I went through and read a ton of different responses to Lawrence Krauss's response here, and it was pretty strange. A lot of people were like, okay, so you've declined all of these accusations. You've said none of them are true, so clearly you must be lying. And reading his response, I don't feel like he said it's not true. I feel like in his response, he's saying, look, this is the way I remember it. This is the way other witnesses remember it. And he says in the end, has my language or demeanor sometimes made others feel uncomfortable? Clearly, yes, and for that I sincerely apologize. And whenever we look at the accusations against Lawrence Krauss, was there ever anything more than he made people feel uncomfortable and his language was offensive? I'm going to say no. I don't recall reading anything more than that. So did he apologize? I feel he very much so apologized for making people feel uncomfortable, for his language and demeanor not being on 100% all the time. So what more do people want from Lawrence Krauss now?
So before we go over judging it, do you want to give a summary of what he said a little bit for people that haven't read it yet or don't want to read it because it was too long?
Sure, absolutely. So he asked 3 questions in his response. Was BuzzFeed accurate? And he goes through and he lists every single point made against him. All of the different, there was a photo request that a woman said that he grabbed her breast during a selfie. So they requested the photo, and no photo ever came up of him grabbing a woman's breasts during a selfie. So that accusation was thrown out there in the BuzzFeed article. He's saying, where's the evidence for it? And I think that's fair, because the BuzzFeed article did specifically refer to itself, its own article, as evidence, yet they didn't really provide the evidence. So he's saying that no evidence was given to that claim, and that he doesn't recall doing that. The Premier Institute was one of the colleges that, or universities rather, that he was supposedly banned from for sexual misconduct. But what he says is that he was never actually banned, and he did actually ask for the Premier Institute to come forward and say something, let everybody know if what he's saying is false, but that he was not banned from there, and that someone did complain 2 years after he went to the Premier Institute, and it was always his understanding that the complaint was that he hurt their religious sensibilities. It didn't have anything to do with a sexual claim. So without any proof there, that's
what he assumed. Not that anybody told him that. That's just what he assumed.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, that's what he says he thought then, and what he still thinks now, because nobody has told him otherwise. And he did ask for the Premier Institute, to come forward and say something. There was the Center for Inquiry Cruise allegation where Lawrence Krauss and his wife allegedly confronted a woman and asked her to have sex with them back in his cabin. That happened in 2011. The claim came out in 2013. He says that he doesn't remember, that happening. That never happened. He and his wife didn't do that at all. He did offer some. Was it this woman?
That sounds like something you would remember, though, if it happened. No.
I would say I would remember it, unless I do that a lot.
Yeah,
but I go up to a lot of people like, "Hey, you want to have sex?"
Okay, so devil's advocate, if that's something, so you would obviously remember. Isn't that weird that you say I don't remember? Wouldn't you outright say no, that didn't happen, or yes, it did happen, but it wasn't an issue? Not remembering something like that seems a bit odd, don't you think?
I guess his wording is a little different here. He says, my wife and I, who both maintain it did not happen, and the unidentified woman who is rumored to have told someone else about it in 2011, when she expressed no interest in complaining when offered that opportunity in 2013. So it looks like throughout this one, he is saying that they did not do it, and that it was just a rumor that it come out.
From all the allegations, that one seems the least problematic to me, because the allegation is what? That that him and his wife went and offered somebody a threesome, and she said no, and therefore
they declined it,
and then therefore nothing happened. Okay, so
Shannon, thank you. She asked a great question on our YouTube feed. Is propositioning someone no longer legal? I'm confused. Absolutely, that was my complete can he not go up to a woman and ask that?
Isn't asking what we're supposed to do
even a deal?
Isn't that what we're supposed to do? If me and my wife go and offer somebody a threesome and they say no, and then nothing happens, it was unwanted, and that's why it didn't happen. Isn't that how it's supposed to go down? You ask, you get a rejection, and you don't do anything. I don't even understand why that was included. But if it did happen, if they did happen, I don't know if it happened or not, right? But if it did happen, I wish Lawrence would have just been like, yeah, it happened, so fucking what, right? I'm hoping that he's not being intimidated into saying these things didn't happen, because this one doesn't seem like it was an issue. Right? I don't what are these people, like these reporters, like they're putting this here, like to say what, that people shouldn't be having threesomes? Is everybody cool? And we shouldn't be asking each other that if we want to, so. I don't understand what the issue with this one was. If the stories are true, by including these other ones that seem to be not an issue, just completely lose their story gets damaged. their credibility gets damaged because it seems like they're just going after anything that is sexual, whether it was right or wrong, right? They sound so Islamic to me when they include that. It's like, oh, they went and asked for a woman for threesome. And
I know. But the thing is I do think that absolutely they included this for a reason. And I think that one of the reasons why they included this was because a section of their article was bashing the skeptic community. And I think this was not just about Krauss. This allegation right here was not just about Krauss, but about the way we all view different situations. I know, especially here in America, a primarily Christian country, that is wrong to a lot of people. That is taboo. Married couples do not go out and have threesomes. It is considered bad. And so I do think that was put in there for a reason. And I agree with Lawrence Krauss, who says that article not just attacked him, it attacked the skeptic community.
Yeah, some people are criticizing him for saying that as if he represents, he's saying that he's representing the skeptic community. He never said that. The article makes it seem like that there's a problem with the whole skeptic community because of him. He's like, oh, now you're standing for the skeptic community. No, he didn't say that. He's saying this article is not just going after me; it's going after all you all, right?
Absolutely.
Which is true. But first of all, before we go in our skeptic route about this article, I just want to a lot of women and men that have actually been victims, right? When they see skeptics like me and you or other people coming to the story and saying we don't know, they don't like it. They say we're not taking this shit seriously, right? And before we keep commenting in this, I want to point out that just because we don't know, that doesn't mean that what happened to you is not serious, okay? If whoever is a victim, right? Just because when we say we can't judge the evidence because we don't know everything, we don't have all the evidence, everything is going by he said, she said, we're not saying it didn't happen. We're not saying it did happen. We're not saying it didn't happen. We're not saying it was serious. We're not saying it we don't know how serious it was. The stories that came out, it might be nothing. It might be way more serious than that. It might be true, and there might be bigger stories that never came out, and we don't know. Okay, when we say we don't know, it's when we are not in a position. We don't have the credibility or the know-how or the background on how to judge this evidence. We are not qualified to judge the evidence.
No, we're not.
We're not.
No, we are not.
You know who is qualified? The police, the justice system, right? They are qualified.
Absolutely.
So when we and you know who else is not qualified? The journalist that wrote this fucking story, right? Right? So we're not saying that when we say we don't know, we're not calling you liars. We're not saying it didn't happen. We're not saying it did happen. We're saying better people than us should be judging this. We're saying people with credential, people with the experience, people that know how to judge these things, they are the ones that should get involved, right? We're not dismissing you. If things happen to you that shouldn't have happened to you, our skepticism, our demand for evidence before believing something is not a suggestion that these things should not be taken seriously. Okay, I don't know why people confuse these things with each other, right? We're just
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've seen people come out not against just Lawrence, but everybody that didn't believe the stories. They're coming out with their pitchforks. Some of them saying, "Yeah, we're basically as the same as people that don't accuse the Catholics, priests abusing children." And like, are you fucking serious? You're comparing this guy making some awkward social remarks, and if these are true, and making some advances that he didn't read apparently he didn't know that they were not interested. He didn't rape anybody. He didn't abuse anything. If all of these are true, the worst that happened, which is not okay still, is that he made some comments that were out of place. He didn't understand that these women are not interested. Some of them are nothing, right? The asking for somebody for a threesome one is absolutely nothing if it happened. It's actually admirable that a couple are open-minded enough to experience, and I think it's admirable. And they're asking people, they're not forcing them to, they're not attacking people, right? They're just saying, hey, are you interested? No? Okay, bye. Maybe some, right?
Exactly.
So that story doesn't even make sense why it's even there. But the other ones, we don't know. Okay, so we have two different people saying which one was the most serious. First of all, the most serious one, if it happened, I think is the grabbing in the hot tub one, right? I think that's the most serious one, isn't it? If it happened.
Or what do you think about the hotel room ones? Because both of them have such complete different stories.
Well, the hotel one is just a range of different things, right? So you either have a situation where somebody came to the hotel, I mean, it's not very clear. Did he force himself on you, or did you, something started and then you feel like, okay, this is not good, and I mean, there's a whole range of different scenarios that we're not clear what happened, right? So we don't it could be as bad as him grabbing you and trying to kiss you, or as not as simple as like, hey, do you want to come into my room? And yes, or like, okay, do you want to have sex? No, this is awkward. Goodbye. Right? It could be as bad as that, or as simple as that. I don't know which. Wait, Lauren said they did go to their room, right?
Oh yeah, well, him and Miss Hensley, yes, yeah. And he actually addresses this.
So that one we don't know, and which side of the range this is, right? We don't know,
because I mean, Lauren says that in his rebuttal here, that whenever they were in his hotel room, she pinned him on the bed, they were kissing. He pinned her on the bed, they were kissing. And
pin could mean many things, right?
Well, I mean, to me, it's not what he's saying is it's playful,
Yeah,
I mean,
pin could be playful, could be forced, unwanted attack. If that happened, I hope if this ever happens to you, I'm not blaming the victim here, but please, because it's really hard to know what to do at the right time, but please consider screaming and calling out for help if something like that, if somebody is actually forcing that on you. But pin could actually mean either forced or, I mean, I don't know, or playful. I don't know what it means, right? It's not very clear, right?
Right.
But we're not saying it wasn't serious. We're just saying we don't know, right? I think the other accusation, which doesn't have a range, you either did go and grab someone's boob or you didn't, right? That one we don't know, again, because the person that this happened to never came forward. There's no picture of it. It seems to me that if it did happen, it's idiotic for you to do that in front of everybody. I mean, I don't know. In front of a fucking camera, in front of everybody else, I find it very hard to believe that if he did that, he's not, okay. It's just, I don't want to say I don't believe these people because I just don't know, right?
Right, exactly. Well, and what we'd like, I mean, if I am being asked to socially condemn Lawrence Krauss, and it seems that that's what a lot of people want me to do, especially on Twitter. So if people want me to publicly condemn Lawrence Krauss for doing all these things, I would like proof. The BuzzFeed article, even though it called it self-evidence, it was not evidence.
Did it actually say that, self-evident?
Oh, it said in the byline, it said, will the skeptic community turn against Krauss or whatever after reading the evidence? So they referred to their article as evidence. And
their standards for evidence is very fucking low.
Thank you. But okay, so there was another accusation he responded to, which
these people should believe this. We should start believing in the the Jesus going, you know how many people said that Jesus was resurrected and went, you know, he went to heaven. They say it was how many people? 500 people saw that happening, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. A lot of other people come and tell me that, you know what, I know some stories. I've seen some things. So that's why I believe this story, right?
Right.
So that's why, okay, if you saw some things that makes you believe it, then you're in a better position to judge than I am, right?
Yep.
But if you tell me that you saw something, therefore I should believe something, no, because I'm not in your position. Now I'm judging based on you just telling me a story. You might be in a position to now judge this and say this is definitely true. But you telling me that you saw something doesn't put me in the same position as you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you saw something yourself, I'm just hearing it from you. That's two different versions of, you know, of us being to be able to justify what we believe in, right? Again, this, you know, by the way, this is not, I don't want to just complain about the people that are saying that we should believe this story. The extreme is also on the other side. A lot of people on the other side are saying this is definitely a lie. This has not happened. This is just slander. No, you know, how many people have you seen that they just say we don't know? Why is that so uncommon for people to say? The other people that are saying these are lies, he's totally innocent, he has done nothing, that's also an extreme.
Right, and it's just the most honest stance to take. We do not know.
Yes. Is that really hard to say? Is that really hard to say for people we don't know? And this is so interesting because this is the irony of the fact that this is coming from the skeptic community is very, you know, and you know, a lot of people that are accusing us of not just believing. One of them I heard say, you know, me and you and other people that are not believing, if we are on fire, they wouldn't even piss on us, right? Yeah. And they say they're not even exaggerating. I'm like, you are worse than if we are on fire and you're not gonna piss on us to save us, you are worse than anything you think Lawrence Krauss has done. Right? and the same people that compare us to not accusing pedophile priests that actually abuse children, you're comparing Lawrence Krauss making, even if these are true. First of all, you're comparing with cases that have been proven beyond reasonable doubt. You're talking about cases that nobody is denying that they have happened, including the people that have been accused. They have, you know, they have admitted that they have happened. So the degree of evidence is completely different, and you're comparing somebody making awkward or social remarks to women to people abusing, raping children. Like, are you fucking serious? It is
a complete false equivalence.
Is that what the group of people you're putting us in with? Oh my God, this is so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, okay, so
go on.
One of the things that was accused of him, I still can't get over. I think I went on a little rant on it on our last show. I'm not sure. I've been ranting about this for weeks. So he asked a student who was giving him an interview whether or not she was harassed at all because she was one of the only women in her physics class, right? So he also asked her if she wanted to go finish the interview over coffee or dinner, because he does that with all of his students, right? Like there are numerous amounts of students that say, yes, he likes to kill two birds with one stone. I have gone out, I have had dinner while we did a project, or had dinner while we did this, went to the coffee shop for whatever reason. So he just asked, can we finish this over dinner? And so it took her some years, but the Western Reserve University came back and said, this behavior alleged by the student could constitute a violation of the university's sexual harassment policy. So what he doesn't understand is after he made that comment And after, he invited her to dinner, they actually went out more times together. She asked if she could share a taxi ride with him and his wife. They continued their relationship for 5 months after that had happened. And then all of a sudden, it was a problem that he said that to her. But what is the problem with asking that question? And then this might, I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but what is the problem with asking if someone gets harassed if they are the only gender in a certain field? Would this be treated the same if somebody asked like a male nurse? They're typically more women than there are men, which I know that's a growing field for men. But I'm just saying that there are typically more. So if a man is the only nurse on a hospital floor unit, is it terrible to ask if he gets treated differently? Where is the true sexual misconduct in asking that question?
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, again, we don't know. I mean, the comment could have been, again, different ranges. I don't know. We don't know what has happened. I hope people don't. The thing is that what I'm worried about is that we don't want to discourage women from coming forward, or even or men. Okay.
Sure.
So please, if you see the community being skeptical or people being skeptical, you don't need people like us to weigh the evidence. You should be contacting the police. You should be getting legal help. And here's another thing. There are people that will help you with trying to pay for the legal fees if you need to, right? There are crowdfunding sources. There are people that help with cheap. There is a lot of charity groups. Reach out to them. But the the cheapest free one is the police, right? Just file a report right away. Those are the first people you should go to if it's actually a serious abuse. If it's an awkward situation, please don't mix it with this Me Too movement is valuable. Don't ruin it with stuff that is just awkward situations, right? I'm not saying this was awkward. This was just an awkward situation, right? Maybe it was more, maybe it was less, maybe it was nothing, maybe it was way worse than we even know about, right? But I'm just saying that, if people are being skeptical about some of the cases, this is important for the ones that are serious to be taken seriously, because if it's mixed with either lies or things that are not that serious, then it hurts the cases of the people that do actually have a case. This is not for us not to take everybody seriously. This is to maintain the credibility of the people that actually do have a case, right? And another thing is that people need to be patient. These things take time. You can't just demand people to take sides right away. Especially, you can't let something like BuzzFeed, BuzzFeed doesn't even, the reason why an article like BuzzFeed is a very bad place to use for judging people is because they really don't care if they are wrong. They know that this drama sells. They're following the clicks. I'm not saying because it's BuzzFeed is wrong. It could be BuzzFeed and it could be a true story. Everything could be true. But that's not the source. That's not a credible source. They are following the clicks. And these stories sell.
I mean, that's exactly why they put out a video of a guy saying that we never landed on the moon. I mean, if you look through BuzzFeed and their history, I completely understand why people are angry that anyone's taking them seriously. However, like we pointed out before, BuzzFeed, they were the first to break the Kevin Spacey sex allegation, and they were correct about that. So, they can be silly and also tell the truth. So, I mean, the point that I love that you're driving home is just that, you know, it's okay. It's okay to not know. This could be true. This could not be true.
Right.
I think that with Krauss coming out with this statement and being as detailed as he was, yes, it was 9 pages. Yes, a lot of people are angry saying he didn't admit to any of it, which actually he did. Okay, he did admit to asking a student that question. He did admit to asking her to dinner. So, you know, he did admit to doing some of the accusations against him here. He's not completely throwing that out the window. He did apologize if his behavior made people feel uncomfortable or bad. So, I mean, I think that this is enough for me personally to say, okay, enough holes have been poked in the BuzzFeed story. I'm going to wait for more evidence. Right? So I'm
Right.
still not dismissing either side. Now I would like to see that picture. Or I would like someone who was there to come out and say, yes, I was there, I saw it. I would like, you know, come out, say it. I am now waiting for more evidence, because this, for me, poked enough holes that I don't find it credible, but I still would understand if people had more evidence.
All right. Two other things I would like to point is that the people on both sides that are saying that the atheist or skeptic community is dead. The people on believe everything accusers say side, they say this movement, the skeptic movement is, or the atheist movement is too toxic, is misogynist, is sexist, so fuck it, I'm out. And the other side saying, like, what happened to skeptics and atheists? They used to demand evidence, but now they just believe everything without demanding evidence, so fuck this shit, I'm out. And I say fuck you to both of those two groups of people, because really this is, okay, first of all, we have grown so much that I'm surprised that you didn't expect these things to happen. Of course, these things you're going to have people that disagree with you, and you're going to have people that you're going to find shocking. You're just going to, whatever movement you're going to support next, that's going to happen to it as well. What do you expect? Right? Because we're so many of us. How could you not expect to have people that you strongly disagree with? You're going to abandon the things that we're fighting for. First of all, as long as there is religion and bullshit and dogma and superstition, these movements are worth fighting for, no matter how many assholes or how many you know, con artists or whatever we get into movement. We could just point them out. Just you're gonna just abandon the whole thing because of the people that you don't like there. You know how many people are being discriminated against, killed, tortured, imprisoned because of religion, because of dogma, and you just don't want to fight this fight because, oh, you don't like the people in the movement. Well, go get the fuck out then. Go away. We don't need you, right? Also, the atheist community and the skeptic community, by the way, these are completely different movements. They're not just one, each one of these are not just one community. There are many different communities. You know, atheism is just nothing other than believe in God. But people that don't believe in God want to get together, and they or people that want to be skeptical, they make many different communities, and the communities are more than just that, right? And you know what? That's good, because there's so many communities. If you don't like one of them, there's 20 other ones. There's hundreds of other ones. If you don't like Atheist Republic, join a different community. Or if you can't find a community you like, start one that you like.
That's right.
Yeah. I was going to say something else as well, but I forgot. Maybe we should just move on to the next story. Yeah, I think. By the way, sorry guys, I'm moving the chat around because I noticed that the text on it is too small. I'm trying to just make it as large as possible so you guys can read it. But should we look at the comments? No, I think we spent enough time on this story. Should we go to the next story?
Yeah, definitely.
Or do you want to add anything?
The next story. I just, you know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating being someone who will not follow what mainstream is telling them to. I mean, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people I look up to, even though they don't know, I look up to them as much as I do. I look up to them and they say, you know, this happened. Lawrence Krauss is nasty. You got to believe women. You got to believe women. And I love that people want to believe women because I'm a woman. But that doesn't necessarily mean that every woman is telling the truth. And I think that we do have to have.
Okay, you reminded me. You reminded me what I was gonna say. Go on, go on, go on.
Okay, and I know I understand that might sound nasty and that might sound mean, but when you get told things like, well, I hope someone rapes you so that whenever you come forward, people can say they don't believe you.
Holy shit! People say that?
Yeah, oh yeah. So I mean, like, there's a lot I could say to that personally. I won't. But when we have extremes on either side like that, like, how dare you not believe women? I hope something nasty happens to you. It's not women. It's everyone. And there's some of us out there that have a hard time trusting anyone. I think that being skeptical is good. And it's something that I feel bad. Any community that has different opinions, you need to stay and fight, right? If your opinion is so important to you that you would leave a community, why don't you make it so important to you that you stay in the community and fight for it? I mean, I don't know. That was the point I wanted to make. But
yeah, but when you said when they say just believe the woman, one woman they didn't believe, it was Lawrence Krauss's wife, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got on Twitter and she started defending him. And they were so nasty to her. And they, you know what? They accuse her of trying to silence these people that believe the woman. And like, what do you mean silence? She's defending her wife. And how is she silencing people? How is she silencing people by going out and saying, this is my opinion, this is who he is, this is not true? The same people that I say we should just believe the woman, they looked at her, they laughed at her, they screenshotted her tweet, like, look, she's abusing the women that are coming forward. She's abusing the women that are coming forward by trying to defend her husband?
And she wasn't, by the way. She was not. She was asking people to think of things a different way. I read her tweets, and they were saying how pathetic she was. I am sorry, but that was a woman. This is a woman who is being attacked. Her herself, not just her husband, but she is being attacked as being a sexual deviant and blah, blah, blah over that whole cruise trip thing.
Oh, my God. These guys are... Yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a woman who is being attacked, and she comes out and says, can we please look at things a different way? And people are going to start making fun of her. And I mean, what happened to Let's Stand for All Women? What happened to that? I guess it's only Let's Stand for All Women if they are, throwing out the same verbiage we are. Exactly.
Oh my! And sexual deviant, really? Because let's say it was true. She wanted a threesome with her husband and another woman. Sexual deviant? You guys are serious? This is the atheist community fucking saying that because the sex that they enjoy is not what you guys think is normal. Honestly, this is fucking hell, guys. You guys should be ashamed. The way they attacked her on Twitter. First, they accused her of being like himself because they said like, oh, this account was just open, but it wasn't. It was open years ago. But then they found out if it's his wife, they went after her. Like
they did.
They so bad, so disgusting, and unbelievable. And anyways. So let's go to the next story.
Right. Okay, so our next story, very interesting. It's a radio station in Nottingham has been fined for a serious breach of broadcasting rules for playing a song that glorified battlefield victories against non-Muslims. So they have their Ofcom, the Office of Communications, has strict broadcasting rules where you can't, play music or anything that promotes violence against other people. They played a song that promoted violence against non-Muslims. So they were fined for that. And it's funny because they came out and said, that this was embarrassing to them, that they don't hold the same beliefs that were stated in that song. But, that this isn't the first time that they've actually been met with controversy. So there was a time in this past December that they also breached broadcasting rules after they told somebody who had diabetes that their non-Muslim doctor's advice to not fast had no importance. So even though they had diabetes, they should still fast because that's what a good Muslim does.
Wait, so when are they going to start applying the same rules to the Quran and the Bible?
Yeah, right.
I mean, sorry.
I mean, I don't know. If you start reading some of that stuff online, wouldn't you think that that would be promoting violence?
I mean, there's. I mean, it. Let me see the comments here. Why this religion has. Yeah. See,
So
I knew somebody's gonna say that. See, somebody's this person mentioned that. Yeah, exactly. So apply the same rules to the Quran. If you apply the same rules to the Quran, then the Quran should be also banned.
Absolutely. Yeah. The first comment, though, I mean, like, they should have shut it down. No, I don't think that they should shut it down. I think that it could have been an accident that they played that song, not knowing its words or whatever. But I think that, you know, whenever you start hitting a certain repetitive theme here, that they are being potentially harmful to other people. Hey, diabetics, you know, you better fast or else you're not a good Muslim. Don't listen to your doctor. That is terrible. That is terrible for so many reasons. But I mean, so there's that, and then playing a song that, oh, we didn't know. And that maybe you should know. I think, I hope anyways, that being fined, the 2,000 euros that they're being fined, I hope now that they do
they're being
know
fined?
what it is that they're
2,000
telling people.
euro. No, 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
They're, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope that they do. I don't know. I hope that they do.
Wait, that seems ridiculous. Really? They should go to... No, I'm still stuck on the fact that they should go to every mosque, and this is by the government? This is by the police?
This is by their Office of Communication.
Okay, so this is just an internal company policy?
That I don't know. I think that, you know, like this is probably an Office of Communication across the entire.
No, but who issued the fine? The police or like?
No, the Office of Communication and issued
okay.
the fine.
All right, so I take back my criticism because like this is not like a government rules, right?
Yeah.
But if this company ever hires a Muslim, and the Muslim decides to bring the Quran to work, they should apply the same rules, the standard to them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is ridiculous that I don't know that we don't have the same standards for religion in different. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of the texts in the Bible and the Quran, if they was released today, if they didn't have it before, they would be considered hate crimes for whoever that is advocating them, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, slavery, and we're actually going to be talking a little bit about Sharia law, so we'll keep that in mind. As a matter of fact, it's our next article. There was a women's march today in Tunisia.
Oh, wait,
Did you hear about that?
Let's go to that one. All right, let's go. Okay, so what's happened?
Yeah, so this was issued before the Women's March, basically saying why there was going to be a march today of women and men fighting for equal inheritance rights. So,
oh, that's very anti-Quran.
Oh, isn't it though? And that's kind of exactly what's going on. But in Tunis, the women, Tunisian women, they don't have as strict of a, I guess, code as other Arab countries because, like, they don't have to wear a hijab. They, you know.
Yeah, but you could argue
they
that
have a lot more freedom.
With hijab, you could argue that it was never mentioned in the Quran. Okay, you could argue that.
True.
But
that is true.
But with this, you can't argue that. This is mentioned in the Quran that that men are supposed to have twice the inheritance as women.
Yeah, so here they are saying they held up signs that said, "In a civil state, I take exactly what you take," demanding an end to inheritance laws based on Islamic law. So, yeah, I mean they are pushing strong to They've actually submitted, a secular politician submitted draft proposals to advance women's rights. They are hitting this hardcore. I think it's amazing. I am so proud of it. I mean, I've been reading a lot of stuff lately about people being upset that Western feminists aren't supporting women in Iran. You know, and I also agree with that. I think that women in the West should be the voice.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think everybody has the right to be an activist about the things that they care about, right? As long as you are an activist.
How can you be a feminist and not care about women who aren't being treated well?
Well, I mean, you can't care, but you could be like, I care, but my passion is women right now in my community. Like, maybe, here's an example, right? You could be like, I'm a dogs' right activist, right?
Right.
Somebody could be like, why just dogs? Why not just all animals? They're like, well, because I just like dogs more, right? I'm just saying, if you're out there and helping out dogs from abuse, you're already doing most people, right? As what I think the hypocrisy will come in if you're defending people that abuse cats, right? And supporting and fighting against people that abuse dogs. If you actually go ahead out of your way to defend the people that are abusing cats, then I have an issue with you, right?
But aren't some Western feminists doing that by defending and empowering the hijab?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I have an issue with the feminists that actually defend Islam, right? But not with the feminists that don't defend Islam, but still they focus more on women that they in their community that they care about. You know what I mean? It's just their passion.
I do, but I still think it's crap. I still do, and I'm sorry. And the reason why I think it's crap, Armin, is because the women in my community, they have a voice and they can speak. But the women in Iran right now do not really have a voice if they're being thrown in prison and being charged with inciting prostitution for taking off a headscarf. Right. And so, you know, I totally see your point, and we could stop there. I just, no. I feel that, if your passion is women in your community, they have a voice. I think that if you really care about women, just like if you really care about dogs, you're not going to just focus on labs when you see a German Shepherd get hit on the street. You're not going to say, sorry, German Shepherd, I only care about lab dogs.
No, it's not that they it's not that. No, yeah, I agree with you. The ones that don't care about these other women, they're hypocrites. But I'm talking about
absolute hypocrites.
I agree with you on that. But I'm saying the ones that do care, but they want to focus their attention on a specific issue because they think they're more effective at that. That's different from people that don't actually even care. You know what I mean?
That is true. Yeah.
Right. So there might be, you might be like, yeah, I care about all of them. That's horrible. I'm not going to defend it. But right now, I'm focusing on this case right here. I think I need to focus if I want to be effective, right?
Yeah.
So that's the situation that I accept. I don't accept people that say defend Islam or don't care about women that are suffering from Islam. That's I don't care about that, right? Those are people that I will call out. But if you want to go down the road at why are they not calling, they are not calling them out, I could find you examples of people that we're not calling out. Like there are so many women that are being abused around the world that we're always going to find a case that we're not pointing out, right?
And that's true. And as someone who has a bleeding heart, and every single time I hear about one of those things, I go a little crazy.
I mean, when was the last time we talked about the situation, women in Indonesia, right?
Right. Absolutely. But I feel like too many women, especially too many feminists in the Western world, are focusing on things. They are focusing on their own issues, which is, great. We definitely need to do that. But at the expense of other people who need a voice louder right now. And you can't get to everyone. But this is kind of big right now. And those women really need our help.
Right. So what I suggest we do is we invite them because what you're saying is that women here they have a voice, they have the freedom of speech, so they should lend their freedom of speech to people that don't have a voice, right?
Right.
But what I think the more effective strategy is to invite them to consider doing that rather than shame them on the fact that they're not doing that.
And that's an absolute fantastic point, because shaming people gets nowhere. But I do get angry over it.
It does get. No, I would have to correct that. I do think shaming people is sometimes the right thing to do. Like in this case, I would shame people that are actually defending Islam. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just think, but if you're not defending Islam, but you're also not giving a voice to women, for example, in Iran or maybe in Tunisia, then I won't shame you because you're not defending the indefensible. You are just haven't considered lending your voice. I'll just invite you to consider that. That's what I would do to those people. You know? Yeah. Anyways, that's just my opinion. I might be completely wrong. I don't know. Let us know in the comments.
Let us know. Let us know what you guys think about this.
Yeah. By the way, Ellie, is the text in the live chat that is showing on the screen, is it too small for people to read?
Yes, it's pretty small.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna try to keep playing with it. Do you have anything to add to this story?
I just that I think that it's really awesome that men and women got together to march for this.
This was a good cause. Really, whatever you guys think, yeah. So we should encourage that. You go, yeah. Good job. Good job, because this is an extreme. People might think that going against the hijab seems more extreme, but this is actually going against the principles of the Quran itself. So this is pretty.
Exactly.
This is pretty. Yeah. So good job, Tunisian women and the men that are supporting them.
Absolutely.
All right. What is this? Whoa. This seems crazy. The next one, male escort.
Yeah, the next one. Okay. So a male escort has exposed 36 gay priests. He sent WhatsApp chats between them to the Vatican to be investigated. Actually, he didn't send them to the Vatican. He sent them to an archdiocese of Naples, which was then sent to the Vatican. And the reason why he did this, so being a gay priest obviously is not against the law, right? And as they point out in the article, it's a sin to them. It's a sin, not a legal issue. So why would this escort expose these gay priests? Well, he says that he did it because he couldn't put up with the priest's hypocrisy any longer. And I think that, his aim wasn't to hurt people mentioned, but to help them understand that their double life, however seemingly convenient, is not useful to them or to all the people for whom they should guide an example, be an example to follow. So that's why he exposed these priests. And I think that, that took a lot of courage to come out and do this and be so public about it, because
well, I'm worried about him. Is anybody going to hire him for the future?
I don't know.
I mean, this is like, what is that going to do to his clientele? I mean, I don't know. So, yeah. Anyways, here's the thing. Where was this?
Italy.
All right, in Rome.
Yep.
All right. If you're in Rome and if you're gay, go hire this person. If you're into hiring escorts, go hire this person to support him, because he's gonna lose. Because apparently he had a lot of customers in the
36 priests.
In the priests, right. So that's a lot of income that he's sacrificing to bring for his cause, right? So if you want to support this guy, go find him out and hire him to support. I don't know. What do you think about it? But did he do the right thing? But because this was private text, right?
Can I be honest with you? And this might seem very unpopular. I don't think he did the right thing.
No?
I don't. I don't think that he did the right thing. I think that when you are an escort and people pay you for your service, I think that you should provide your service and you should move on. I don't think that it is good for your cause. I don't think that it's fair to these priests that came to him to get exposed for it, because none of them were accused of pedophilia. okay, or having sexual relations with minors. Okay, these men weren't doing that. They were just gay and tried to find someone. And, I don't think exposing them was fair.
Interesting. Do you think they could sue him? Is that like something?
I think they could. I mean, why not?
Huh.
I would. If this case were different, if these priests were coming to him like, man, this boy I know, you were busy, so I went to this boy I know, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if he was telling this escort that they were doing some shady crap on the side, I could understand taking that information and taking that to the archdiocese and being like, this guy has admitted to me he was breaking the law. But just to expose some hypocrisy, who isn't a hypocrite? Who isn't? Who has never been a hypocrite a day in their life?
Yeah, but this is different to be a hypocrite and go day in and day out and tell people that this is a sin and you shouldn't be doing it and then doing it yourself, no?
I don't think that's much different from what any other hypocrisy is. I mean, don't we all sit on social media and expose only our best selfies and expose only our happiest moments and make things sound even better than they really are? I mean, don't we on a daily basis put on
but not
sort of
this
different
much
face?
That's different.
But they weren't doing anything illegal. They weren't, and I don't know if I don't know if paying for I mean, it is in the United States, but I don't know if paying a prostitute is or an escort is against the law there. So if that was illegal, I can understand that. But I don't think that telling people you're going to hell for being gay and then actually being gay yourself, I've seen people be just as much hypocritical over it. I know gay people who hate gay people and think gay people are going to hell. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to have strong opinions on something and be the opposite of it. It's a lot of cognitive dissonance. It's a lot of pain. But I don't think that it deserved being exposed unless they were doing this to a child or, admitted to breaking the law in that way. I don't think that it should have been exposed.
V10 in the YouTube chat thinks that we are wrong, that he did the right thing. Donovan in the Facebook chat is saying, sounds like someone didn't get paid by one of these priests and got mad.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyways,
we don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I can't think if this is a good. I think maybe you're right. I mean, just too wrong doesn't make it right. Right, just because they're hypocrites doesn't mean that you could take private messages and expose them.
I mean, the moral superiority there.
Yeah. Unless they did something unless they're harming some. Yeah, you're right. Actually, they weren't harming. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are harming people by making them feel shitty about who they are. But they weren't.
That's feelings, though. You know what I mean? And so to me, it's just not that big of a deal.
They weren't abusing anybody. So if you saw them, if you noticed they were abusing somebody or being with children or something, then you should definitely call the cops, right? But
yeah,
maybe you're right. Maybe they weren't doing anything. They were just hypocrites. They don't deserve their private information to be exposed like this just because they were hypocrites. I don't know. V disagrees with us in the live chat. So Mike is saying they didn't do anything wrong. He shouldn't violate their privacy unless some of them was anti-age. Well, no, Mike, but then you agree with him because they're all anti-LGBT activists. Mike is saying it was okay only if they were anti-LGBT activists. Let me see if anybody commented here. At least they are not fiddling with children, so it was a win. As far as I consider, yeah, they weren't. Maybe this was a good thing that they were doing that. Maybe Maybe we
Maybe
should.
this prevented them from taking advantage of somebody else.
Yeah, maybe this is how they should go, and making sure that they don't get so frustrated that, I mean, not that it would justify it. Only 36? That's a shock. I mean, people shouldn't shame this because they did gay sex, though, right? Like, the only thing wrong about what they did is that they're hypocrites and they're telling other people that this is bad, not the fact that they actually have gay sex. Unless you're against prostitution, and that's a whole different conversation. It's a sin and a crime. Who is this guy? Nothing is a sin. What would one expect from an exclusive club of men in robes and funny hats? I mean, I don't want to shame them from acting gay, because there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
God loves cock.
I don't know.
All right. Anyways, no. People shouldn't. Yeah. The only issue is that they're hypocrites. But another issue is that their hypocrisy does not mean that they deserve what happened to them. So maybe you're right. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let us know. Anything else? Should we go to the next story? By the way, I fixed the text. Yeah. The YouTube text is now, I think, is readable now, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's a lot clearer.
Yeah, I keep improving that. I have a scrolling text here as well. Wait, now happening every time. It's getting better every time. But I think I also managed the setting so that it doesn't get as much lag as it used to. I think. Let us know if there's other things we need to improve. Anyways, next story.
Yeah, this next story is really, really just, oh my God, it's pretty messed up. So listen closely to this one. A suspect in Lahore blasphemy case is fighting for his life. In Lahore, Pakistan, a man right now is lying in the hospital bed. He is broken. I mean, his skull has been broken, his eye sockets, from jumping out of a window during a blasphemy interrogation. So you might ask yourself, why? Why would someone have wanted to kill themselves just for being questioned over a blasphemy case in Pakistan? Well, this is where the story gets crazy. So the guy laying in the hospital bed wasn't the initial person being charged with blasphemy. It was actually his cousin, Patris. I think I'm probably mispronouncing that name, Patris. So Patris was accused of sharing a blasphemous image on Facebook, in a Facebook Messenger group, actually, making fun of Prophet Muhammad. Well, as you know, in Pakistan, the blasphemy laws say that it's mandatory to give the death penalty for anyone who defiles the sacred name of Prophet Muhammad. So Petrus was actually the one who was being charged of blasphemy. Well, a mob went to the tiny city right outside of Lahore, where a lot of Christians live, and they demanded Petrus come out and be lynched, right? They were going to kill him right there in their little village. And when he didn't come, because he had already fled, he knew that people were coming for them, the mob demanded that if he doesn't come in, that they will burn down the entire village. So they said over 800 people fled and are too afraid to return home. Patris, his father was attacked while people were trying to find him, so he went ahead and turned himself in.
What the fuck is wrong with Pakistan? Seriously, guys. This
is about to get so bad, Armin. This is about to get so bad. So Patris is in custody now. He's the one originally filed with blasphemy. They call in his cousin, okay? And it's his cousin, Shazid, who is sitting in the hospital right now. They're going through Sajid's phone looking for cases of blasphemy that he could have committed. And the SIA officials pulled down Patris's pants and tried to force Sajid to perform oral sex on his cousin. Rather than face that humiliation, torture, he told himself, it is better that I die than do this. So he jumped out of the window.
Why the fuck did they do that?
To torture them. So
because
Patris
of
and Shazid,
torture them for the crime of
blasphemy. And by the way, it was never proven. Okay?
Wait, isn't oral sex gay oral sex?
They just wanted to humiliate him. Yeah, they wanted
by
to
doing
torture
something
them
that
both,
they find
humiliate
also
them.
un-Islamic?
Yeah. I mean, hey, if they can't get him for blasphemy, maybe they can get him for that. I don't know why would anyone do that? I mean, it's so
Maybe they
messed up.
just maybe they just wanted they just got somebody they wanted this, and they just got somebody that was in such a desperate situation to live, so they just were taking advantage of the situation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
So
and
this poor guy
Yeah.
jumps out of the window and he survives.
oh my god.
Okay, he's broken all over, head to toe. He was not expected to survive, but he survived. So now this poor guy is hanging out in a hospital bed, terrified every day that they're going to come to him and be like, we're now charging you with blasphemy, because they were going through his phone. They were going through his phone trying to find places where he would have also committed blasphemy like his cousin.
Fuckers! Like, this guy jumped out of the window as in the hospital. I mean, these people are thinking like, let's see if we could also bring him into a bigger hell. Like, how fucking mental, how fucking abusive do you have to be to look at this poor guy and want to torment him even more?
Well, look, and it's not just him. This Patras guy, his family has to remain in hiding because they're afraid of being attacked if they return home. His brother was fired from his job following the accusations. His brother was fired because of his committing blasphemy. I mean, so it's not even just him. They're punishing the entire family. They're punishing all of them.
This is so ridiculous. Why do these stories come out of Pakistan? You know, whenever crazy stories come out, like this, come out of Iran and Saudi Arabia, it's mostly done by the government. But when it comes out of Pakistan and Bangladesh, it's mostly by the mobs, not the government. Most of the time, at least, isn't it? Is that? I mean, isn't that the sense you're getting out of stories coming? Why is this? Why do we get so many? It always
seems to be starting with a mob. Yes, absolutely. And not only that, but you know, anyone who tries to defend these poor people, we have a comment in here that's saying it's normal in Pakistan. No one has to be punished by court because they'll all be killed before going in front of the law. That I actually hear a lot of. People die in prison while waiting to be killed for committing blasphemy, or they get attacked by a mob, or they get killed by someone who's supposed to be guarding them. So, you know, a lot of these cases, these people don't even get to see justice. And they especially don't get to see justice because judges who don't give the correct verdict of guilty are threatened to the point where they either have to run away or they're killed. A judge was shot for not giving the verdict that the people wanted. And any lawyers who try to defend these people, they also get murdered for just defending them. Where's the justice? There literally can be no justice, or else it'll cause more violence in these cases.
Yeah, but Pakistan is, I don't know if it keeps going, it keeps proving us that it's so far behind. I don't know if there's any hope. Like, you know, some people from Pakistan, some atheists from Pakistan sometimes get upset then saying, no, this is just a few group of people that are like this. But I don't know. The number of stories we get out of Pakistan like this is more than other places, I think. Unless, correct us if we're wrong. It seems like things are getting worse, not better in Pakistan. And I don't know how we could. I know there are a lot of atheists in Pakistan. We know a lot of atheists in Pakistan, and I fear. I'm scared for them because they're living in the environment.
Oh, and they're scared for themselves. Armin, our support group often gets scared, trembling, poor little teenagers who are like, the government just sent me this text, and 5 minutes ago I sent a blasphemous meme over Facebook. And everyone in Pakistan has seen these texts from the government saying that, you know, blasphemy is against the law. If you see it, you are to contact us immediately. But they freak out because they say, did they send this to me because I just sent a meme? And I have to try to talk them off a ledge. You know, they are terrified. They are so terrified living there because they know at any moment one slip up and they could die for it.
We need. Is there anything people can do, or we can do, or like?
We have to keep talking. I mean, Atheist Republic. We've written the government. We've written the UN. I myself have helped people personally escape Pakistan and file for asylum in other places. I give advice on how to leave Pakistan and get a student visa somewhere else. Give them websites to places that hire in different countries. There are so many ways to get out, not even by asylum, because what people in Pakistan, by the time you do something that is asylum worthy, you're going to die.
Right.
So getting out on asylum is hard.
By the way, if you're in Pakistan, and you're an atheist, make sure you get like a VPN or something, so that NordVPN. Go search for that, and make sure you install something so that nothing is traceable back to you. And if you're making accounts on Facebook, or make sure it's a fake account. By the way, I wish
never use your real picture, not even once. Not even once. You're going to be so tempted, but never use your real picture.
Don't do that. No. I don't want to say be silent, because if you guys are silent, nothing will ever change, right? I mean, there needs to be this thing is getting shittier and shittier, and there needs to be some sort of activism, ground activism. But don't know the risk before you want to decide if you want to be an activist or not. But if you do decide to speak against these things, make sure you install VPN. Make sure you never use your real name or real picture. And also, I wish Facebook would. Does this Facebook policy is still that you have to use your real name on Facebook? Is that still the policy?
No, not
they changed
anymore.
That?
They did change that.
Oh,
yes, they did.
Thank you, Facebook.
Yep.
You did something
right.
Yep,
they sure did.
Was that because of activists?
It was.
Nice.
This situation had been brought to their attention so many times, so they decided to change it. It wasn't just atheist activists, but it was also women's activists who, a lot of women have to run from abusers. A lot of men have to run from abusers. So they don't want to use their real name. They get stalked, they get harassed. So it was women's rights activists. That
Good.
were pushing hard for it, atheists that were pushing hard for it. I mean, I know that our closed group admins actually filed reports with Facebook saying, you are literally responsible if this person has to die, because you are saying that in order to use our platform, you need to put your life at risk, and that is dangerous. So, there were a lot of people that came forward and did that. So that did change, finally. People who need to stay secluded can on Facebook.
And you have to understand, Facebook has such a wide reach, and if people say, well, don't use Facebook, you don't understand that you're taking a very powerful tool away from them if you don't let them be active on Facebook, right? I mean,
That's
if you want to get the voices from Pakistan to outside of Pakistan, Facebook. By the way, I think Atheist Republic's Twitter account is blocked in Pakistan. We got a notification for it.
Yeah.
But if you want voices to come out of these countries, you need to let them use Facebook, right? I mean,
not only that, but and definitely please use us too. Anyone listening from Pakistan, look, if you want to blog about things that happen there under a different name and a pseudonym and hide, let us be your platform.
Right.
You can definitely please come to us and see. We would love to be your voice if you can't use yours, but we can especially find a way for you to use yours. So, come to us too. Leave messages here.
And also, you could leave a voicemail here. You don't need to leave your name or anything. We should give people a tool to be able to change their voice if they're leaving a voicemail for our podcast, but I don't know if that's possible.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And kudos to you. If you're fighting, you're braver than I would ever be, so... And please let us know how we can help. That's fucking sad. Anyways, is all the stories sad today again?
No.
Next
but
one.
I mean, we had a great story with the Women's March, right? Women are getting out there.
Yeah, that was good, yeah. All right, what is this one? Satanists.
Yes, the Satanists are suing Missouri apparently again over its 72-hour abortion waiting period. So the Satanic Temple, for people who don't know who the Satanic Temple is, they're basically atheists who use the Satanic Temple as their religious right in America to fight the religious laws that are passed here. So it's pretty awesome following them and seeing all the stuff that they do that's actually really good for this country. They are seeking to sue the state of Missouri because Missouri makes women read a factually inaccurate booklet that is basically makes them feel such guilt for what they're doing, and it hopes that it'll change their mind. But not only that, whenever they go in for an abortion, they have to wait 72 hours before they can return and actually get the procedure done. So that's not very fair. There was a case that they tried suing back in 2015. It was tossed out because the woman was no longer pregnant. The woman suing the state of Missouri, that the Satanic Temple was handling her case, she was no longer pregnant, so they threw out her case. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Like,
Wait.
She doesn't have the right to sue anymore over that harassment because she's no longer pregnant now? Like, are you serious?
What? We have a law for that in U.S.?
I don't know what law that is. I mean, I guess any case can be thrown out for any reason in our legal system, but for that to be the reason, well, she's no longer pregnant, so we don't really need to hear your complaints against the that is ridiculous.
So what is the Satanist arguments though? Like, are they using like their fake religion?
Their religion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
so.
This is against their tenets. The Satanic Temple has different tenets.
They're one of the greatest trolls in the world. I don't know.
They're incredible, right?
They're fantastic. I love them.
I do too.
It's actually.
I follow them everywhere. They're just amazing.
It's more effective than the flying spaghetti monster because everybody knows that if the flying spaghetti monster is a joke, but Christians really are afraid of like Satanists, right? Like this scares the shit out of them, and this is fantastic. Where every time you say like, "Hey, let's religion in here or religion in there," they're like, "Okay, Satanists get in here," and they're like, "No, let's not. Let's be secular. Let's separate religion and education." They're scared of these people. They think it's real. And it's fantastic. And every time there's a rule based on religion, then the Satanists are like, well, this is one of our tenets. How did they manage? All of this works because they managed to get recognized as an official religion, right?
Yes, that's exactly why they're able to do this.
That's fantastic. Kudos to them.
Yes.
I don't know, because we never managed to make Flying Spaghetti Monster an official religion, right? We did in some other countries, but not in the United States.
Not in the United States, no. Yeah, so I think it's great, and it's not only that. A lot of people are like, I don't understand why they have to call themselves Satanists and blah blah, but they've done great things. I mean, it is intimidating and unfair for an atheist to have to walk into their courthouse and see a huge statue of the Ten Commandments. It's that doesn't represent the people, and that matters to a lot of people. Some people can think it's stupid all they want, but it matters to other people, and they do things that are very fair. That's all they ever ask for here is fairness. In this case, they want a woman to be able to decide if she's waited enough time for an abortion, and not force her to read some crap that is designed to make her feel guilty and not get an abortion.
Yeah, I mean, to people that say why they have to call themselves Satanists is because the Christians and Muslims and all the other religion people they think this is disgusting and vile. They when you tell them Satanists, they're scared, right, of their children having Satanist books and teachings and literature in front of them. That's why it works, right? And because they managed to get recognized as an official religion, they wouldn't have if they just made up something new, right? Because they got recognized as an official religion, and because Christians are scared of Satanists, every time they manage to win a battle and let religion in, into schools, into the government, or make laws based on it, then the satanic church moves in and turns that win into a loss for them, because now all of a sudden they open the door to the satanic temple. And that's beautiful. That's perfect. That's genius, right? And again, here every time. So now we have religion-based rules. Now now Satanists are using their religion-based rules to fight an unlawful thing, which is fantastic. I mean, the more they do this, the more other people Christians and Muslims will decide that they don't want religious-based laws. Maybe this will get them to support secularism. Anyways. We should check the Facebook chat as well sometimes. Should we go to the next story?
Yeah, let's go to the next story.
Let me see what we have.
So this one is kind of weird. An Israeli motorist rammed a car into a policeman and two soldiers Sunday, wounding all three in the attack in northern Israel. Okay, so I left something out of that on purpose. It was the fact that it was an Arab Israeli person who did that. But you have to understand, this is a guy from Israel who attacked people in Israel. They're still calling it a nationalistic attack on Israelis by Palestinians. You know, the whole fight between it is just outrageous. And they go off in this story to give numbers of how many people have been killed. Since 2015, Palestinians have killed over 50 Israelis, 2 visiting American people, British tourists, and over 260 Palestinians were killed by Israeli forces at that same time. So, you know, we have a lot of people killing back and forth. According to these numbers, one person is killing more than the other. Our responses on this were a little strange on the Facebook. I want to see if I can go there and find. No, it wasn't this story. But they did say, oh, well, when you fuck with people, some of them are going to fuck back. I don't know. What do you think about that?
That what? That is fair game?
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about? Because that is a response that we hear all the time over the Israeli
to kill innocent people conflict. Because somebody else killed innocent people?
Doesn't that just lead to more killing of innocent people? Why is this an okay response? Why do we see this response all the time, especially in the Atheist Republic? They say, well, they started killing, so these people are just going to start killing back. That's how fights continue.
No, killing people that didn't actually carry out the attack? Like, this is... I don't even know if this deserves a response. Like, isn't this obvious? Like... Hey, Allie, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I heard... I mean, it just makes no sense. It's like, hey, I killed your brother because you killed my brother. And like, okay, but my brother didn't kill your brother. I killed your brother. Why would you kill my... I don't understand. It just seems weird. And I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if it deserves a response. So let me see if somebody... So Gary here is actually saying that in the comment section. Oh, well, when you fuck with people, some of them are going to fuck back. Yeah, I guess people that didn't actually do it. Let me see if somebody...
Someone replied to that and said 9/11 justified.
Yeah, you could basically justify any kind of crime or atrocity. Yeah, you can. Yeah, 9/11 justified. Good job. Good response. And let me like this. Yeah, that was. I think she did a very good job in responding. So that's it. I don't know. This is
definitely
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's sad. You know, I watching this go around and around. You actually posted a video a long time ago, and I think we posted it on Atheist Republic about the fight for Israel, the Holy Land, right? And how it's been going on forever and ever. And this is, I don't know, I don't remember the song that went with it.
Oh, yeah, it was a song. Yeah.
I know. I think we should link that to it's people have been killing.
Yeah, and a lot of
I don't
people.
know.
I mean, we should maybe have a discussion about this in one of our upcoming Atheist Republic discussion. Where there a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is not religion. This is politics. This is real estate. This is that." But we should have a full discussion about this one day. But I don't want to get into it because this is the reason why I'm not commenting on this much is because this whole Israel Palestine thing. If you open that can of worms, that's going to be a whole 3-hour episode by itself.
Yeah, it will.
So let's leave that for an episode that we dedicate an entire hour or two on. Anyways, next story.
Next story, a man in Egypt was on TV, was invited onto a TV program, then kicked off and told that he should see a psychiatrist whenever he brought up being an atheist. So basically the point was there's no scientific evidence for the existence of God, and that he didn't need religion to have moral values or to be a productive member of society. And that's when he was attacked. The host said, "How can you say that? Who created you? Who made you exist as a human being? How come you exist in this universe?" So I just personally kind of want to address these questions, begging the question, if you will, as far as who made you exist as a human being. You know, who created you? Your parents created you. You know, who made you exist as a human being? That's an inaccurate question. What makes you exist as a human being depends on what your DNA scripted to be, and how come you exist in this universe? Yeah. Why we see these questions all the time, especially on the Atheist Republic page. We see a lot of theists that come to us and ask these exact, as if, you know, we don't have answers to these questions. And if we didn't, even that would be okay, right? Even if you're not very scientific and you don't know how you came to exist on this universe, and you want to say, I don't know, that is even better than saying, I don't know, therefore God did it.
Yeah, you know? I mean, Egypt seems to. They just recently made atheism a crime, didn't they?
Absolutely, yes. We reported on that, I think, on our first episode, and right. This happened, I think, right before that went through. This is just now making the news, by the way.
It's really brave of this guy to openly announce his atheism in a country that is making atheism illegal.
I'm telling you, absolutely. Not only that, I think that sheriff was on there with him. I don't know.
Why?
A deputy.
I want to know for the Egyptians that we had a lot of atheist Egyptians that told us that, you know, they support, not all of them obviously, but some of them support this new Sisi guy, and they're like, because he's better than Muslim Brotherhood. Given the way things are going against atheists right now, what do they now? The ones I know, a lot of them actually hated him because he's a human rights violator, but some of them supported him because he was not Muslim Brotherhood, right? I want to know what they think now, given that he's under his watch, atheism is now becoming illegal in this country.
Yeah.
Oh, Beach is saying in the YouTube chat, didn't they declare atheism as terrorism? No, that was Saudi Arabia. In Egypt, they're just making it a crime punishable by what, like a fee or imprisonment?
That I don't know. I think we even had that question then of what and exactly how are they going to carry that out? Like how are they going to carry out any punishment, or what proof are they going to require? I don't even know.
Your God is so fucking weak if you need to go after people like this. Seriously. Like, how weak does your God have to be for him to need your help? How sensitive this God has to be for him not to be able to take people just not believing in him, right? It's so ridiculous. You guys are making an opinion illegal in your country. An opinion. Not anything. It's not hurting anybody. It's not attacking anybody. It's not lying to anybody. It's not a con. It's not anything. It's just an opinion. You have an opinion, and now you're a criminal.
Yeah.
Someone
said, bring on the Egyptian guy, and he'll tell you, you know what, that's not a bad idea. I actually might contact this guy and ask him if he'll be on here and answer some of our questions that we all have.
Yeah, we should have him on. Yeah, you're right. Actually.
Yes, so I will do that this week, everybody.
We should do that before the law hasn't passed yet, right?
Oh, well, they No, they did pass it.
It's passed already. So are we putting this guy at risk if we invite him and he comes up and say I'm still an atheist?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe it won't be this guy. It'll be another guy. How about that? We'll get some answers. We'll get some answers. But the way that they went about it, though, Armin, the host apologized several times to the audience for bringing on somebody as destructive as him. And at the very end, he apologized to his viewers again, and they said Hashim just looked like he was at a loss for words. I mean, he just sat there like, is this real life,
I'm so sorry to bring someone so vile, an atheist on. I actually saw in Egypt, the reporter went and asked, there was a reporter who was asking the public if it is a good idea that they're making atheism illegal. And I don't know if that reporter just got a really bad sample or was this representative of most people, but every single one of them said, yes, this is great. I mean, and they said like Jews and Christians are welcome, but seriously, atheists? No, this should not be accepted in Egypt. It seems like there's a lot of public support for this, which is very sad.
Yeah,
I don't know if
if
someone from Egypt can let us know if this is actually what Egyptians think. I know this is actually very sad, especially because Egypt is atheism in Egypt is growing very fast, and I don't know if you know this, Allie, but one of our top countries where our fan base comes from is Egypt. I don't know. I don't remember which number it was, but it was really high up there. I think that the first Islamic countries that our fan base come from is Pakistan. When it comes to atheists.
Yeah, I knew Pakistan. We had a big following.
Indonesia is up there when it comes to Islamic country, but I think from among the Islamic countries, Egypt is number 3. So we have a lot of Egypt atheists following us, and it's really sad. Like, please let us know what you guys think about this. What do you predict for the future? What are you planning? Comment on this YouTube channel, on the YouTube version of this when it comes out. And let us know, but also please be careful. I don't know what the penalties are if you're found out. This is ridiculous. Things are moving backwards. Yeah. I had a lot of hope for Egypt because I saw that atheism was growing. I don't think this is going to discourage the growth of atheism. In fact, the cost of it is that the fact that a lot of them are going to suffer. But I think it actually might bring a lot of people to check it, might encourage a lot of people in Egypt to check it out because they're bringing attention to it. Like a lot of people didn't, a lot of Muslims used to traditionally think that their main competitors in ideology were Christians. But more and more Islamic leaders are seeing atheism as their main threat. And that's because we are growing globally, and because we also have better arguments than Christians, right? And the fact that you make laws against them in a country like Egypt makes other people think, well, oh, this is a bigger deal than I used to think it is. Like, why are they growing? Why is this a threat now? So it might make a lot of people want to actually check it out and see who are the atheists in Egypt. Because a lot of people might thought, oh, the atheists are just a crazy 0.5% minority group of people, right? But if the government thinks that they need to make a law about it in Egypt, then that's a signal to people that there's a whole bunch of atheists in Egypt. And if there's a whole bunch of atheists in Egypt, people might be curious to learn what it's about and who's an atheist, and they might want to ask questions from them, right? So, by the way, join our Atheist Republic consulates, Egypt-based consulates. You could find them easily if you just search for Atheist Republic consulates, and there's a link to all of them. And
yes, and we have someone who handles all of the Egypt consulates, Basim, who does a fantastic job. He's a really great guy. So definitely, please do join those.
Yeah, join those and be safe. All right, let's go to the next story if it loads.
The next story is pretty funny. So here's our laughing point. This is great. We shared the Christian perspective. They give obviously very biased news. And so they're pretty upset that atheists have missed a point with a sheriff responding to a school shooting with scripture, and that the atheists are now issuing a threat. So the Freedom from Religion Foundation found out that a sheriff sent out memos to everybody in his office after the Florida school shooting. And on it, there was a Bible verse. He quotes scripture in this memo that's, for work. So they say, let's stop doing that, please, because it is against our Constitution to mix church and state. And so they say, you need to cut that out. And Christians are mad. They are so mad. And they're trashing, obviously, the atheists, and they're trashing the FFRF, Freedom from Religion Foundation. So they say that this is stupid, that they're trying to sue him over this. But, if this were something else, if this were somebody who was quoting the Quran after a massive school shooting and spending government resources, meaning taxpayer dollars, to sit at his desk and type out some Quran verse, I don't think that these Christians here at CBN, the Christian perspective, would be very happy about that. So, and of course I don't have any proof to that effect, but, where do they draw the line? So if they are allowed, where's the Satanic Temple? That's what I want to see. I want to see them spending taxpayer dollars typing up stuff with satanic scripture on it. But yeah,
well,
I
they
don't know.
failed
What do you
here.
think, Armin?
Well, I kind of feel like the FFRF and the Satanic Temple are kind of seems like they're unintentionally working. So the FFRF comes in and tries to prevent something, and if they fail, the Satanic Temple moves in and takes advantage of the. So the FFRF, by the way, it's a fantastic organization that I love. They basically try to always prevent religion meddling in places that they have no business in meddling in. But I think they won here. That's why they. Right, so that's why they're so angry, and that's why the Satanic Temple is not needed.
Well, they haven't won yet here in this case. The sheriff hasn't actually responded, so and then they typically don't, and then the FFRF has to take it to court. The same thing happened to a sheriff here in Texas, where they put "In God We Trust" on their vehicles, on their state-issued vehicles, paid for again with tax money. And then the FFRF said, hey, guys, cut that out. They didn't respond, so they had to take it to court, and they won. So if this sheriff doesn't want to respond, he just wants to sit there and say, hey, it's okay that I'm going against policy because God is involved. My God, by the way, my God is involved. If he just wants to sit there and be quiet, that they get to take this to court.
So what's the objection that the FFRF is saying that you're the sheriff, you can't, you're representing is that the complaint that?
Well, they're saying it's a violation to the U.S. Constitution. It's a gross misrepresentation of the role of American law enforcement. And it is. It absolutely is. I mean, it is unconstitutional to sit there, use taxpayer money, taxpayer time, and sit there and create this memo while you're looking up Bible verses or whatever it is you want to be inspirational with. You can be inspirational without the Bible. I promise you, I do it all the time. Okay. It takes a little bit of originality, though, Mr. Sheriff. So.
No, and I wonder if their sheriff was like a Satanist and he was like sacrificing a chicken and bring blood all over, put the star in the middle, trying to prevent school shooting with a satanic worship. I'm pretty sure the reaction would be very different, right?
It would, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And
and if they complain, you're like, "What is this satanic shit? Why is this allowed?" Like, we could tell them, "Oh, you're missing the point. This just this stuff is inspiring us. Why are you complaining?"
Oh man.
No, go. You were gonna say something. I interrupted you.
Yeah. So what I'm no, you're fine. What I was going to say was that these people don't understand that the Freedom from Religion Foundation is actually helping to protect even Christians, because, like you said, next thing, if the Freedom from Religion Foundation here doesn't win this case, and I'm pretty sure they will. This is, I mean, cut and dry, in my opinion, from what I can see here. So if they don't, and the Satanic Temple wants to step in, I mean, these people are everywhere, right? I mean, you don't know who adheres to the Satanic Temple. You don't know who is an atheist when you're at work most of the time. So, you know, they want to sit here and push this. Next sheriff they get might just be one of those people. The next sheriff they get might be a Muslim, and start pushing the Quran everywhere.
So what
Christians
what
don't like that, not here in America.
What do you say to people that, this doesn't hurt anybody? It's just script. It's just words. Why are you so against this?
Well, it's not just words. It's breaching the U.S. Constitution, and it's wasting taxpayer money.
Who cares? He had a statement. He had a bunch of scripture at the end of it. Who cares? What would you say to that?
When do we start caring? That's what I say to that.
Yeah, because it's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. When you give the religious people the authority to move into this just a little bit here in government, then they're going to want to move in more and more and more. It's never going to stop. That's why you have to hold your ground and never let them any influence in government. And
nipping this and making it stop when it's just words on the bottom of some memo is way easier than when it's letters on trucks. Yeah. And when it's little Bibles that police officers start carrying around and handing to you once they give you a ticket on the side of the road. And before anyone says that hasn't happened, that absolutely has happened already. So, you know, stopping at a memo, this is the time to care.
Right.
That's my opinion. I don't know. We did have some good comments on this, though, I think.
Yeah, we have a lot of comments here.
Yeah.
It's Texas. Do we really need to be surprised? But it's okay to break. Yeah. I mean, this guy is breaking the law, basically.
Absolutely. What he's doing is unconstitutional. Here's someone right here. This seems like a pretty dumb issue for FFRF to take up. No statues, no wall plaque, nothing but a quotation on a memo. Big fucking deal. No, then do you want to wait for it to be a big fucking deal before you stop it?
When it becomes a big fucking deal, it's going to be very hard. When they have so much influence in the government, it's going to be very hard for you to start removing them because they already moved in too deep, right?
Yeah.
But sorry, you were going to say something.
No, and that was exactly it. I mean, when you never want to wait until something is a big fucking deal to handle it. You don't want to say, oh, it's just a little bit of cancer. It's just sitting there. Right. You want to wait for it to grow into the size of a baseball before you get it removed, because that's when it's a big fucking deal. Let's cut things out the second they start happening and they're unconstitutional. That's when something becomes a big deal to me.
Yeah. By the way, I might think that I do think they might like this. Christians like a good oppression story. Like sometimes they want FFRF to come out and be like, so that they're like, oh, we're being oppressed. Look at these atheists. We can't even have we can't even have scriptures in our memos now. Look what that Jesus is coming. This is the sign of the time. Like, this is a sign. When we get oppressed, that's when Jesus is coming. So they might be enjoying the fact that they got this from FFRF. I'm not saying the FFRF should.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't honest about that. But whenever you're in a group, you bond over a villain. Yeah. That's what pulls a group closer together. So absolutely, they love this. They love feeling oppressed because it makes the Bill O'Reillys on TV. I understand he's not on TV anymore, but it makes the Bill O'Reilly types that are on TV screaming about war on Christmas and all this other crap. It makes it more real to them, right? I have been oppressed by the Freedom from Religion Foundation, but to me, it's too important to not do it. I don't know. Let them bond. Let them feel good over a common enemy.
Yeah. Well, if they're enjoying it, then it's win-win. We'll get to keep religion out of politics, and they get to enjoy being oppressed, quote unquote. Yes. Right. Okay. So let's go to the next story.
Yeah, this is our last story, and this one is again on Pakistan. So people are starting to notice. The world is actually starting to notice that Pakistan's blasphemy laws persecute the weakest of the weak. What this article starts off talking about, I'm not sure if everyone knows this or not, but last week or a few weeks ago, the Colosseum in Rome was lit in red to kind of bring awareness to unfair blasphemy laws from Pakistan. And Asia Bibi, or Bibi, I'm going to say Bibi. She was a Christian mother who was sentenced back in 2010 by a Pakistan court for blasphemy, committing blasphemy. And people are demanding her release. And the European Union, I believe, let me see, we can talk about the rest of this later after I make this point, because this is really important. The European Union Special Envoy has told Pakistan that they need to watch what they're doing as far as like with arresting people for blasphemy, and in the case of Asia Bibi, they want a peaceful resolution. Otherwise, they are going to restrict their import-export abilities. So it's kind of important. They're putting pressure on the Pakistani government on this case for Asia Bibi, saying this is not okay. The world is watching. We demand a peaceful resolution now. So this woman was basically accused. She was just a poor woman. I think she was even illiterate. And she like picked berries or something she was a berry picker. And her neighbors, her Muslim neighbors, they didn't want her drinking from the same water glass as them because she was a Christian. So she made some comment allegedly that they heard, and they turned her in for blasphemy. And she's been sentenced to hang, but her case is still pending. Yep. All over an accusation.
To hang? Despite the government?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus. Oh, my God.
So they also give a little bit of a history on Pakistan's blasphemy laws that I think is really important for people to know. Back in 1980, making a derogatory remark against any Islamic personage was defined as a crime under Pakistan's Penal Code, Section 295, punishable by 3 years in prison. And then in 1992, another clause was added to that, prescribed life imprisonment for willful desecration of the Quran. And it wasn't until 1986 that a separate clause was even added to punish anyone who spoke ill of Prophet Muhammad. And they would receive death or imprisonment in life for doing so. So we're talking about the 80s. The 80s is when this started pretty hardcore, just making any derogatory remark against any Islamic person or any negative remark about anything Islamic, you were going to be going to jail for 3 years. And now it's any willful desecration of the Quran would give you life imprisonment. And then again, a clause is added punishing anyone who spoke bad about the Prophet Muhammad. So what's left? You can't speak of Islam, you can't do anything bad to the Quran, and you can't speak bad about Prophet Muhammad. So can you even give a criticism, I wonder, with the rule that they instated in 1980?
This is why we need to criticize the shit out of Islam, because we can't censor the internet. I mean, they can, but I think a lot of people in Pakistan know how to get around these filters and stuff like that for them to have access to it. Especially because, a big mistake that these governments usually make is that they also ban porn, right?
Oh yeah.
And when they do that, you're guaranteeing that teenage boys are going to learn how to get around your filters, right? You're making sure that they go and get the know-how, right? And that's a
Yeah.
good thing, because now they're going to have access to a whole bunch of other information as well. But I don't know. I just think, like, what is this fight they're fighting? Because everybody has access to internet, and they're gonna see the content coming from Atheist Republic and other pages.
Well, they won't unless they have a VPN. I believe.
Yeah,
They in Pakistan have us blocked even on
but that's
Facebook.
what I'm saying.
Didn't they petition that?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But with a VPN, can't you just change your proxy to another country?
You can. You absolutely can. But that's why they've also made it illegal to, on Facebook, participate in anything that's blasphemous, be around anyone who posts anything blasphemous.
Be around?
Or you yourself.
Be around somebody that posts something blasphemous?
Look, that'll get you an accusation, and that's all it takes. As a matter of fact, this article brings that up. Procedures for an investigation and prosecution lend themselves to widespread abuse because assertion by a Muslim witness that blasphemy was committed is sufficient for filing charges and arrest of a suspect. All it takes is for one person saying, not just person, excuse me, one Muslim person saying, this person committed blasphemy, I saw it, and you are arrested. So being around it, where someone can even take a screenshot and your name is associated somewhere around blasphemy on social media, you're going to spend years in prison until they get a judge who's willing to see your case and get you a lawyer who's willing to take your case, and they're not going to want to because it's going to put their lives in danger.
But this one, beyond just arresting her, she was also sentenced, right?
Absolutely, because they said supposedly that she made a comment, and in here it states that if a Muslim person in Pakistan says that blasphemy was committed, then it's taken. But like if a Christian were to go and report that blasphemy against Prophet Muhammad was committed, their word is seen as half as valuable as a Muslim person. And Bidey here was a Christian, so and she had Muslim witnesses say, which were her neighbors, say that she said something blasphemous against Muhammad, and anything said, written, or whatever, that is death. It's death or life in prison, which is death. So yeah, they sentenced her to hang.
That's so fucking sad. Is there something we can do?
Well, I think that, if someone wants to do something about this, what you can do is you can write the Pakistani government. You can also write the UN, file a report, because Pakistan sits on the United Nations, and they are over here constantly committing crimes against humanity. They are killing their own people. They are abusing policies to make sure that their feelings aren't hurt. Write the UN. Tell them Asia Bibi. Release her now. Write the European Union and let them thank them. Thank them for standing up.
But here's the thing, though, with Pakistan. No, I'm sorry, I interrupted you too often. But the Pakistan's government is scared of its people more than, I do. Again, this is a very weird situation because, again, in Iran and Saudi Arabia, the people are scared of the government. But in Pakistan, I think the government is scared that if they are not so forceful against blasphemy, then the mob is going to come after them, right?
And you're absolutely right. This is a tricky situation, but the thing is I believe that if the UN were to step in and say we're going to kick you out, you're gonna lose your seat. I think that right here, the European Union coming forward saying, hey, we're gonna wreak havoc on your trade abilities. I think that the more big people that come here and do that, Pakistan is going to suffer. And if it suffers, the government suffers. Obviously, the people are going to suffer 1,000 times more. And I think that once those people start to see that there are worldly reactions to their actions, maybe that's going to light some fire underneath the people in Pakistan.
No, because they don't care about this world. They care about the next one.
You're right. But what can any country do when their people are that set on?
Yeah. By the way, I don't want to discourage people to write to the UN. Please do. It does have an impact. Please go ahead and do that. But I do think that when a country like Pakistan, there needs to be a lot more ground activism. I mean, in Iran and Saudi Arabia, people don't believe me when I say this about Saudi Arabia, but there is a lot of atheist activism and secularism already growing in secret and in hiding. In Iran, is a little bit more obvious than in Saudi Arabia. And in Pakistan there too, but in Pakistan it's less safe because you're not just hiding from the government. You're hiding from your fucking neighbor, right? So
you're hiding from your own family.
Yes.
And some of the people who come to us, their dads are going to kill them.
Right.
It's crazy.
I'm sure we could find examples like that in Saudi Arabia and Iran as well. But I'm just saying that in Pakistan, it seems like it's way worse. Like you could just get caught into something, and I remember this Christian couple that were accused of blasphemy, and it wasn't even proven, and they were tortured for a whole fucking week, before they killed them. Yeah. And there was this one politician recently that got kicked out because he simply forgot to mention that Muhammad is the last prophet. He didn't say anything blasphemous, right?
Right.
He just didn't add the fact that he's the last prophet, right? Because they're so afraid of this other religions that have other prophets after Muhammad. And there was protests against that. The government had to apologize. They had to kick the guy out. It was so, like, the government, I think, these Muslim mobs in Pakistan, they are a force to reckon with. Like, the government is scared shit. And the military uses them against the government too, right? Because the military sometimes, is very interesting. The military there uses these mobs based on when they move in or when they don't move in to stop them, right? So it's not like they're not using their own force against the politicians that they don't like. They just, when the mob is angry about something, they just decide whether they're going to stop them or not stop them. So it's very tricky. It's very complicated. Anyways, anybody from Pakistan, if you want to correct us on anything we said that is wrong, or if you want to add more details, please do so. By the way, Allie, one thing I do in the comment section is I ask people to suggest news for next week. So when you are grabbing the news for next week, go to the comment section of the YouTube link to this and try to see if anybody recommended any news for us to cover for next week. So
that is great.
Yeah. So
yes, I would appreciate that so much.
Yeah. So please, once the YouTube version of this, the non-live version of this, when it's out, please go into the comment section, and if anything you think we should cover that needs more attention, please let us know, and we'll see if we could fit it into our weekly news coverage. Anyways, this ended on a sad note. I guess when it comes to religion, most of the stories are going to be sad and depressing.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry guys for depressing you. But it's important. We need to know these things.
We do.
Yeah. Anyways, so again, every time these things end, I don't know how to end it. Like, we need to come up with a phrase or something.
We'll do a slogan.
Yeah, something, because it's so awkward. I don't know how to end these things. I know how to end it. Thank you, Beej, in the chat. Thank you, anybody, Vigard in the live chat, in Facebook. Sorry, guys, for you. Anybody in the Facebook chat? Supercom, thank you.
And Shannon Q, she added a lot of great stuff, I think, to our YouTube chat. And the guy who told us we're all going to hell in Facebook. Thank you. You gave us a laugh too.
Well, Casey says yes, you are late, but if you go to our YouTube channel in about an hour or so, because when the live versions of these are done, it usually takes a while for Facebook to fix it because it's weird. So for the first hour, when you click on it, it just starts at a random place. I don't know, the cover is not correct, but after an hour or so, if you go to our YouTube channel, there's going to be a link to this video, and also there's a podcast version of this out. So if you have a podcast app, if you search for Atheist Republic, I'll make sure to publish it on the same day. So go check that out. Yes, it's almost over, Casey. Sorry, but it's going to be available soon for the full thing in an hour or so.